Welcome to our channel. In this video, you have to discuss what are the data types you have to use in Python program. So before discussing about the Python programming, now I want to discuss with that what are the data types you have to use in C programming. So what is the data type? A data type, simply you can say that a type of the data a variable can hold. So variable is simply nothing but it is a reserved memory location for storing the values. So what are the data types you have to use in C or C++? You can use the mainly you have to divide into three types. First one is the primary data types, and the second one is the derived data types, and third one is the user-defined data types. So primary data types and the derived and user-defined data types. Primary is the basic data types. Those data types are defined by the system, either C or C++. You can use these basic data types only: integer, float, double, character. Whereas in derived data types, you have to use the what are the basic data types you have to use. From those data types, you can implement these data types: function, pointer, arrays. So these type of derived data types you have to use. And a similar way, you user-defined data types. Our own data types we have to create it by using this. Our own data types you have to create it. Those data types are structure, union, enum, and type types. So now we have to discuss. Last videos we have to discuss what are the sizes of each data type for the signed or unsigned: -2 power n minus 1 to -1 to +2 power n minus 1. Whereas unsigned data type you have to consider 0 to 2 power n minus 1. So these data types completely we have to discuss in previous videos. Now in this video we have to discuss with that what are the data types you have to use in Python language. So nowadays artificial intelligence mainly we have to use it in Python programming language. So whenever you have to learn this Python programming language, you must know about the data types. What are the data types you have to use for the storing the data into the variables? So here we have to use the 7 types of data types you have to use in Python programming language. First one is the text type, and second one is the numeric, and third one is the sequence, and fourth one is the mapping, and fifth one is set type, and sixth one is the boolean, and the last one is the binary. So for each data type we have to represent it. Whereas text type means generally what are the text we have to use. That text we have to represent it with the string str function you have to use. For the numeric purposes, you have to use the 3 types of functions you have to use. That is the integer, float, complex. Whereas in sequence data type, we have to use the 3 functions you have to use. One is the list, tuple, and range. Whereas we have to mapping the data, that time we have to use the dictionary. And whereas set data type, we have to define the 2 functions you have to use: set and frozen set. Whereas in boolean, that is the bool function we have to use. For the binary data type, we have to use the bytes, byte array, memory view. So these are the data types you have to, these are the functions we have to use in Python programming language. So each one, how these functions we have to working on the Python programming language. Now we have to discuss. See here. First one consider as a string. So how we can assigning the string to a particular variable? X equal to hello world you have to represent. So here hello world is a string you have to store it into the X variable. So by default, automatically the data we have to assign the X variable with the format of string. So how much of memory you have to occupy here? That is the 49 bytes of memory is occupied for the string. Second one is the numeric data type. That is the three functions we have to use. Those are integer, x equal to 20. So generally, what are the integers we have to assign to the variable x equal to 20? So 24 bytes of memory is occupied for the integer. For the float, 24, and a complex is 32 bytes. So where the float we have to assign x equal to 20.5. So another way you have to represent it, x equal to float of 20.5. So this is the another way. So how we can represent the data, or we have to assigning the data into the variables like this. X equal to 1j, that is the complex function we have to use. That is the x equal to complex of 1j. And next one, another three functions we have to use in sequence. Those are first one is the tuple, list, and tuple. List are represented with the square brackets. Whatever the data we have to strings we have to represent it in the square brackets, that is the list. And whatever the strings you have to represent it within the braces, that you have to simply call it as tuple. List and tuple. What is the difference here? Both are same. Similarly, you have to store in the data, but whereas here only the difference is where for the list you have to use the square brackets, but whereas in the tuple you have to use the braces only. So this is the another way we have to creating the list, and a similar way for the tuple also. And the third one is another function you have to use in a sequence, that is the range. So here you have to use the function x equal to range function you have, and x equal to another way you have to represent, that is the mapping. How we can represent the mapping? For the list you have to using the square brackets. For the tuple you have to use the braces, and for the dictionary you have to use the curly braces. So whatever the data we have to store with the format wise, that is the dictionary, with the name will be assigned to John, age is 36. So we have to represent it in the curly braces. And the next one is another one, you have to represent the sets. Set type, mainly you have the two types of functions we have to use. One is the set function, and second one is the frozen set function. For the set function, you have to use within the curly braces, you have to represent the set function. This is the another way you have to assigning the data into that set function. And the second one is another one is the frozen set function. In the frozen set, you have to represent frozen set of within the curly braces. You have to writing the data. That data you have to represented within the function of the frozen set. And similar way within the braces also you can represent it within the frozen set function. This is the way, different ways of representing the data, and the data we have to assign to the variables. And next one is the Boolean, that is the x equal to 2, that is the Boolean value you have to represent it. That is the bool function you have to use it here. X equal to true or x equal to false, whatever you have to consider. And the last one is the binary. So binary information, mainly we have to use the three functions. One is the bytes function, second one is the byte array function, third one is the memory use function. So first one is the bytes function. So we have to representing the values, and the byte array function, continuous memory location we have to store into that, and a memory of a particular variable value. That memory where we have to store that memory information we have to represent it in this one by using this function. So this is regarding to that. What are the its examples of the data types? How it works in Python programming. See here, I will show you each one. That is the see here. simply you have to see. Uh, Here I will show you. Uh, X equal to hello world. This is the information you want to represent. So how you can store it here? That is the hello world. Simply like this way, you have to represent it and storing the values. See here, that is the values you have to store. This is the way we have to performing. We can representing the data type in Python. Next one, I want to represent as what are the sizes of the Python data type. So here you have to represent the find out the size of each Python data type. Import sys, that is the sys dot get size of the pool. So here the particular data type size you want to find out in the Python by using this function. Simply you can find out the particular value. See here. See here. See here, get the size of the particular pool. So first one, import of sys. So here sys dot get size of the pool, that is the 24 bytes of memory is required for the Boolean data type. Okay. See here, how to creating the int with the specific base. So before discussing about this one, what are the mutable data types and immutable data types? So mutable data types support a facility to change its content, like list, byte, array, set, dictionary. These are the mutable data types. So its content easily you can change. But with immutable data types, you could not change data. Whatever the data you have, the data you could not be changed. Immutable data types does not support facility to change its content, like tuples, range, bytes, frozen set. In these data types, you could not change its data. Next one is the order or unordered data types. Ordered data means sequence data types like list, tuple, range, string, bytes, byte array, memory view, or ordered data types. But whereas the set, frozen set, and dictionary are the unordered data types. So these are the difference between the ordered and unordered data types you have to represent it in Python. And similar way, immutable and immutable data types used in Python. So in next video, we will continue the how to creating the specific base, like binary. We have to conversion of binary, octal, hexadecimal, decimal, and base n systems. So how to convert, I will discuss in next video. Thank you for listening. If anyone not subscribed, please subscribe my channel. Thank you.